guys, Aquaduals here, and yesterday I spent most of my day teaching a friend how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! He hasn't played in quite some time. He left in the middle of the Synchro era, so it's been 10 plus years since he actually last played Yu-Gi-Oh! And he was wanting to get back into it, and it was a really fun time, really good experience. Helped him learn his deck, and just how the game's played now, because it's a lot different from back then. And I just really enjoyed it. So I was thinking after all of that, what are things for a newer player to do, or a new player or a returning player in his case? What are things for them to do that will help them, or just advice I have for them? So first thing I want to say is know your budgets. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is pretty expensive, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I have a giant ballpark deck here that's worth about $1,000, max rarity and everything, so, but there's just big expensive meta-relevant cards, there's cards that with high-end rarities and such, and just kind of think, what exactly do you want to do for Yu-Gi-Oh? Are you planning on going to events? Are you just going to be going to locals? Are you playing with friends? Those are all deciding factors that just can kind of help you come up with a budget of how much you want to spend on the game. For instance, if you're just going to be playing with friends, I wouldn't recommend, making a deck that's like $1,000, or, if you're going to events, then you're going to want, higher end, just like the best cards in the game and such. So yeah, come up with a budget and just know what it is. Next thing I want to say is pick a deck. Now, I'm not going to really spend time on this, as I'm going to do a video on how to essentially pick a deck for Yu-Gi-Oh! But I do have one thing in particular I want to say, is that all decks are not made equal. I mean, look at, Rika's and Emancipators. They're same set. Emancipators is one of the best decks in the format right now. Rika's aren't. They're not seeing any play. Just all decks aren't made equally, and older decks just aren't going to be as good. For instance, Blue Eyes is nowhere near as good as Ice Barriers. Dark Magician is just nowhere near as good as Eldritch right now. That's just kind of how it is. And every deck is going to have formats where they're good and bad, or good and then formats where they're bad. So, a deck that could be bad in one form, now could be better in another format, and a deck that could be good in this format could be bad in another format. That's just kind of how it is. So, at this point, after you pick your deck, you know your budget, do some research. Look up what are the better things of the format. Just what are the staple cards everyone's playing. Kind of get familiar with what's going on in the game, and just kind of note, learn this kind of stuff. And if there's particular rulings or interactions you don't really understand, there's people, there's like the judges lounge, yeah. You can essentially go there and ask. They could explain this kind of stuff to you. So, and then try playing online. We have these online simulators that are great tools for just helping people learn how to play the game and kind of decide on what they want to play. I do want to kind of say, playing online isn't like playing in real life. It's very different. I particularly don't use these online simulators. I'd rather, just play the real thing. That's just how I am. But they're really nice, just free tools that are just kind of there for people like us to use. So, just go ahead and use them. They're a really good tool. So, let's say you do all that, you know what deck you want and all this, all that good stuff, and you're getting cards finally. So when you're getting cards, you want to essentially invest into staple cards. When I mean invest, I don't mean like buy out and that kind of stuff. I mean like the cards you want to get the first are probably just going to be those generic staple cards. What's a generic staple card? Is what those cards are essentially is that they're cards that are going to be good in multiple formats in just about any deck you decide to play. These are the essentially best things to have, and just kind of like the essential things. Like, this is what you need. If you're on a budget, you can get low rarity staples for those cards. For those who, those big cards that you just can't afford, and there's no reprints of yet. There are essentially budget options most of the time. For instance, Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler both do the same thing basically, but they don't exactly do the same thing. One is better than the other. But in just the gist of it, they're pretty close. So yeah, there are budget options. And then lastly, something I want to say is, if you have a locals, go to your locals, make some friends, and just having that kind of just environment is really, really good and really nice. Great way to just help you with the game and just have some really good fun. If you're lucky and there's a locals with meta players who are very knowledgeable, be friends with those people, because they can teach you a lot of stuff about the game, and just in the long run really, really help you. If there's a discrepancy on rulings or such, those are the people to go to. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. As I said, I'll be doing a video on essentially how to pick a deck, kind of help you guys with that. So stay tuned for that, guys. And if you like this video, give it a like, comment any comments you got. If there's anything important you feel like I missed, go ahead and drop in the comments, and hit that subscribe button for more content. Thank you guys for watching.